Okay, let's check it out. It's getting time for Fantasy Saturday Baseball. Now, we start a little bit early. You know the routine. That's how it works. And today, I like to make it official player day. Insert player here. But I couldn't decide today if I should give it to Acuna, Manny Machado, Freddie Freeman, or Josh Donaldson. So I think there's a couple others that I could give it to too. But there was really a lot of great news for, Josh Donaldson, since he went to the Brewers, he's a much better player again. And we're just waiting for the sound to come in the chat room. So that's what we're doing. And I don't want to talk too much about this before we get our friends in the chat room. We have a live chat room at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com/live. You could come and join us in the chat room at 9 o'clock, Monday through Monday, every day, basically. Okay, I see that the sound is good.
And you have the wrong date on there.
What's the date today?
It's the 23rd.
Ooh, I'll have to change the date.
The 22nd. All right.
All right, sound is good. Refresh. Everything's great. Refresh, everybody. Good morning to Tommy Johnson, Danny Fuller. Wow, Laura's here. Mal Pal is not here, but SM King Turd. I was just asking Lenny, when is King Turd coming? Laura and Mary, Chris from Cambridge, Data Premier, Danny Fuller, our captain. Plus, we can't forget to say hi to the wonderful and beautiful Penny, who takes care of our captain. Boston Paul is here after a very busy week of replacing all his furniture and dealing with his cat and everything. Going to the doctor. Everybody has to go there sometimes, but that's the deal. So welcome to everybody in the chat room. I honestly couldn't decide who to make the official day today in the chat room. I was telling Lenny earlier, and before the sound came through, I did let you in on. I couldn't decide between Manny Machado, who hit 2 home runs yesterday, and he's finally got 30 on the season. Real slow start for Manny this year, and I know that there's a couple of you in the chat room who've been relying on Manny in this late time in the season, and I was on the verge. I really thought that, I know they were contemplating whether or not to have season-ending surgery. He's going to have to get surgery this offseason, but he came back yesterday, hit 2 great home runs. And then I texted Malpal and said, what in the world is up with these fluorescent pink and green uniforms that the Padres are wearing? It's just blinding. But Manny, great job yesterday. Freddie Freeman, another one who had some accomplishments yesterday. Miguel Cabrera, another momentous, what's the word? Career goal, basically, for his doubles. Anyway, Miguel Cabrera, Manny Machado, Freddie Freeman. What about Aaron Judge? 3 home runs for the second time this season. Okay, it could be official Aaron Judge day today. There's a lot of great tidbits today, so let's just go ahead and get started. NFL kickers, I know we don't talk football much on this podcast, but NFL kickers are 55 for 55 this year so far on field goals of 35 yards or less. It's not a huge accomplishment, but it is still a good tidbit. Now back to baseball. For this year, we have the teams that clinched a postseason spot. The Braves did it on September 10th. The Dodgers, September 16th. The Orioles, September 17th. The Rays, the 17th. The Brewers clinched yesterday, and so did the Twins. So we have a great, we talk about the question, do we like the expanded playoffs? And I understand the reasons for both sides, but nobody can argue that it makes such a competitive season all the way down to the end. I mean, in years past, before we had expanded playoffs, you just wouldn't see teams trying that hard, and even teams that obviously probably don't deserve to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs with this expanded playoffs. But Hi, Brooks. Lydia interrupted me to let you know that we both say hi to you, so thanks for coming, Brooks Santanillo. Good morning to you. Go Brewers! Boston Paul's home team, Brewers, but we know he's a Red Sox fan at heart, so the Brewers, doing good. And Josh Donaldson, another guy that, I know he didn't do anything spectacular yesterday, but he did hit a home run. And since he was put on the Brewers, he's been doing much better. 13th home run of the season, which ties him with your boy Joey Meneses. The .354 batting average Luis Arraez has is the highest batting average since Josh Hamilton hit .359 all the way back in 2010. Now, it could be official Ronald Acuna Day today again. Good grief, this guy. Lenny asked the question, will he hit 40-70 this year, which is 40 homers and 70 steals. And he is approaching 70. But yesterday, he just became the first player in Major League Baseball history to hit 40 home runs and steal 60 bases in the same season. He recorded his 160th career home run, and he's the only player in MLB history to record 160 home runs and 160 stolen bases at the age of 25 or younger. Also, another one deserving of the official day today, Aaron Judge. He's got 35 homers in just 100 games after 3 home runs last night. It translates to 57 home runs for a full season had he not missed so many games. He's the first player in Yankees history to have multiple games with 3 home runs in a single season. No other Yankees player has done that in a single season. His 35 home runs this year matches Rudy York in 1937 for the most home runs in MLB history by a player to miss at least 50 games in a season. This is Aaron Judge's 4th season with at least 6 multi-homer games, tied for the most such seasons in MLB history with Mark McGwire, David Ortiz, Babe Ruth, and Jamie Foxx. Why are these 2 games postponed today? Apparently they do think that they will be rained out.
Yeah, lots of heavy rain.
Lots of heavy rain today on the East Coast.
Chris Gallo's here.
Good morning to Gallo. Aaron Judge, 33rd career multi-home run game. He passed Ralph Kiner for the most in a player's first 830 career games because this is only his career 829th game. And the Cubbies still hanging in there. I wish I could see Unholy today. Good morning to Zelmo. Good morning to Tony. Guest Holly, I assume, is Merrill Hartson jumping aboard for Saturday rotisserie frolicking. Good morning to you, Merrill. The Cubbies, I wish Unholy Toledo was here, but I know he's busy on the weekend. So the Cubbies get a much-needed win over the Rockies. They beat them 6-0. They nudged ahead of the Marlins for the 3rd and final wild card spot. The Phillies have a 5-game lead in the top wild card berth. The Diamondbacks have a 2-game lead in the 2nd spot. The Cubs, Marlins, and Reds within 1 game for the last spot.
Triple play.
Good morning to Triple Play. The Marlins hold the tiebreaker over the Cubs based on head-to-head record, but the Cubs announcer made a great point. John Sciambi, he thinks the tiebreaker should be based on run differential instead of records, obviously, because the Cubbies have a plus 96 run differential while the Marlins are negative 42. So that is a good point by him. If the Marlins make the playoffs, they'll likely face the Brewers in the first round. The Brewers have outscored them 35-6 in their head-to-head matchups this season. Marlins could have played 500 ball after the All-Star break and strolled into a playoff spot, but instead they lost 8 straight games, and our friend Craig Mish talks about Sandy Alcantara says that he gave it all he had. He's got 600 innings and 90 starts in the past 3 seasons. It just caught up with him. He felt renewed forearm tightness following his rehab start on Thursday with AAA Jacksonville, and he's headed to Miami to be evaluated this weekend by the Marlins medical staff, but it's safe to bet that he's not going to be able to return before the end of the regular season. He tallied 4 strikeouts over 4 scoreless innings on Thursday. He still was pitching 98.3 miles per hour with his fastball, but the right UCL sprain that sent him to the injured list September 6th is still clearly an issue. The Padres' 8-game winning streak, now that they're hopelessly out of the race, comes a month too late. Yes, that's true. The Padres just sitting over there winning games. All this time they've been losing, and now they have an 8-game winning streak. Whatever, okay? Kenny Flamia, great to see you. Taco, good to see Taco. Happy birthday again. The Padres' 8-game winning streak, yes, we told you, they're hopelessly out of the race, comes a month too late. Sean Manaea came into last night 0-5 with a 9 ERA in 9 career starts against the Dodgers. He went 7 scoreless innings, allowed just 3 singles, and no Dodger reached second base. The Mets, the Mets, they're mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. Brett Beatty did hit a game-tying homer in the top of the 9th, but the Mets lost the game in extra innings. Kyle Schwarber, only the 13th MLB player since 1920 when RBI became official, with 120 walks, 100 runs, 100 RBIs, and a 45 home run season. The Twins are the 2023 American League Central champions. Johan Duran secured the save on his 34th pitch. For the 5th time in 6 seasons, the Brewers are headed to the postseason. Over the last 120 years, only one position player pitched the final inning of a game on a day their team clinched a playoff spot. Rowdy Tellez pitched yesterday, did a good job too, didn't allow any runs. His ERA is 0, and the Brewers, they clinched that game early. I think they scored 13 runs in the 2nd inning, but of course we'll get through the nitty and the gritty when we go through the game recaps. Christian Yelich homered in his first game back after missing 12 of the last 13 games with back tightness, and it was in a 12-run 2nd inning for the Brewers. The Brewers clinched a playoff spot with their 16-1 victory. Now, Royce Lewis placed on the 10-day injured list with left hamstring strain retroactive to September 21st, but at the earliest, he's eligible to return for the final day of the regular season. He has a .921 OPS in 58 games with the Twins. He's going to be a monster next year. The Angels' Nolan Schanuel has reached base in 25 straight games, the longest on-base streak by a player 21 years or younger to begin his MLB career in the modern era. The Marlins are first in the National League. They're the first National League team to allow 16 or more runs in a game in which their starter did not allow a run since 1915. Julio Rodriguez of the Mariners and Bobby Witt Jr. of the Royals are the only players in MLB history with 120 or more extra base hits and 60 or more stolen bases in their first 2 seasons. Max Fried had a recurrence of early stages blister on his left index finger in the last inning of his start on Thursday, so the Braves put him on the 15-day injured list, skipping what would have been his last 2 starts so he can be fully healthy for the postseason. Right-hander Darius Vines was recalled from AAA.
Donaldson's here.
Leonard Donaldson, great to see you. Juan Soto's reached base in 25 straight games, and in that span, he's hitting .341 with a .464 on base percentage, 8 home runs, and 25 RBIs. The Cubbies and the Rockies. The struggling Chicago Cubs improved their playoff chances with a 6-0 win over the Colorado Rockies. Chicago had lost 10 of 13, but they refer to freaking baseball teams as an it, okay? And it's very confusing. I do not get when a team turned into an it. Chicago had lost 10 of 13, but it will remain at least tied with Miami. I would like to say Chicago had lost 10 of 13, but they will remain at least tied with Miami for the third and final National League wildcard berth.
Or the Cubs will reach that. Yeah.
The Cubs are a they. They're not an it. Okay?
A they?
What are they doing with their pronouns here? They're just crazy, these people.
What am I? A they or an it or something?
You're a he, Leonard.
Oh, okay, good.
All right. The Marlins will play the Brewers Friday night. Cincinnati, which plays host to Pittsburgh later, was a half game behind the two teams at the start of the day. The last place Rockies have lost 5 straight and inched closer to the club's first ever 100-loss season. Jameson Taillon pitched 6 scoreless innings. Taillon allowed 4 hits, walked 4, and struck out 7 to end a streak of 7 winless starts. He allowed runners into scoring position in 3 of his first 4 innings, but worked out of trouble each time. Seiya Suzuki, another star of the game yesterday, he hit his 20th homer, and he's the 3rd Japanese-born major leaguer to hit at least 20 home runs while driving in at least 70 in a season. He joined Hideki Matsui and Shohei Ohtani. Seiya Suzuki, good job, buddy. Jared Young, 2-run homer. Noah Davis, the starter, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. He walked 2, struck out 4 in the first 5 innings. Marcus Stroman will start today. David Ross said that he will start for the first time since July 31st. And yesterday, Chris Bryant, man, they love him. I don't know why, but they sure love him. He's a fan favorite. They gave him a long enough standing ovation that he had to pause in his first at bat to tip his helmet, and then he finished the night 0 for 4. Chris Flexen faces Marcus Stroman tonight. Thanks, Leonard. Christian Yelich and Josh Donaldson homered during a 12-run second inning, and the Brewers clinched their latest playoff berth by beating the Marlins 16-1. Milwaukee is now assured at least a National League wild card. They trimmed their magic, and here we go again. They trimmed it. It trimmed it. When you talk about a baseball team, it says Milwaukee trimmed its magic number to 1. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I know, I'm spending a lot of time on this because nobody else has bothered to even notice it, but it's very crazy to me that they're calling teams it. Milwaukee trimmed their magic number to 1 for wrapping up the National League Central title. The Brewers have won 4 straight. It's the 5th postseason trip. Can you?
Sorry.
It's the 5th postseason trip in 6 years for the Brewers. By far the best stretch in franchise history. Craig Counsell, tipping champagne. Cheers, everybody in the clubhouse partying it with their champagne. Very proud of the Brewers. They're doing very good. 5th postseason trip in the last 6 years, the best they've ever been. The defeat dropped the Marlins 1 game behind the Cubbies for the 3rd and final wild card. Corbin Burns benefited from early run support and scattered 2 hits over 5 innings, scoreless innings. He struck out 6. It was his first win since July 20th. John Birdie homered. And we talked a little bit about Alcantara. He's experienced forearm tightness on Thursday. He's returning to Miami for evaluation. But I counted out Machado, so I'm not going to count out Alcantara because anything could happen. But I wouldn't be surprised if they shut him down. Brandon Woodruff goes up against Jesus Luzardo tonight. The Pittsburgh Pirates beat the Reds 7-5. The Reds dropped 1.5 games behind the Cubbies for the last wild card spot in the National League. Rookie Andrew Abbott, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, 4 1/3 innings. Brian Reynolds drove in the tying run in the 7th inning with an RBI single and scored the go-ahead run 2 batters later on poor Ellie De La Cruz's throwing error. He's got a lot of throwing errors, a lot of defense problems with Ellie, but he's excellent as a hitter, and that means he's excellent in fantasy. He's fun to watch, and I'm not trying to knock him, but he does commit a lot of errors, and hopefully he'll get better. To Brian Hayes, Henry Davis, Jared Triolo, and Indy Rodriguez all had solo home runs for the Pirates. TJ Friedel had a 2-run homer, and David Bednar got his 37th save of the season and 14th in a row. Also, De La Cruz did swipe 2 bases for number 31 on the season. Colin Holderman was placed on the injured list before the game with a right thumb strain, and Dari Moreta was brought up from AAA Indianapolis. Tonight you get to see Connor Phillips. He's a rookie for the Reds. The Pirates have not named a starter. The Blue Jays got a big win while Tampa Bay lost more than a game. Tampa Bay, yeah. The Blue Jays beat the Rays 6-2, and the Blue Jays hold the second American League wild card by a game over the Astros. The Rays remain 1.5 games behind first place Baltimore in the American League East. Chris Bassett became the American League's second 15-game winner, allowing 2 runs, 6 hits, struck out 8 in 6 2/3, and tied Zach Eflin for the American League lead in wins. Jordan Romano, 36 save and 39 chances, and Dalton Varsho, home run. Now, this is what we're talking about when we say that the Rays lost more than just the game. Randy Arozarena exited after the 4th inning with quadricep tightness in his right leg. Arozarena is now day-to-day. Jose Siri missed his 10th straight game with a broken right hand. Luke Raley was placed on the 10-day injured list before the game, and Brandon Lau, who fouled a ball off his leg on Thursday, will miss 4 to 6 weeks with a fractured right patella. That stinks. Brandon Lau out for the season. Rays starter Tyler Glasnow had given up just 1 hit and a walk until George Springer had a 1-out single in the 6th. Overall, Glasnow permitted 4 runs, 3 hits, and 4 walks over 5 1/3 and struck out 7. Vladdy Jr., slowed by knee discomfort, was the designated hitter yesterday, and he could start back at first base today. Jason Adam left the 9th with an oblique injury, and Rayleigh received an injection in the nerve area. Tonight is Ryu against Zach Littell. 3 big swings by Aaron Judge resulted in a costly loss for the Diamondbacks. Judge became the first player in Yankees history with 2 3-homer games in one season, and New York cruised to a 7-1 victory over the Diamondbacks. Arizona's 5-game winning streak was snapped, and the Diamondbacks' lead over the Cubs for the second of 3 National League wildcard spots was reduced to 1 game. Arizona fell to 1-7 against New York teams this season after dropping 6 of 7 to the Mets. The Yankees moved 2 games over 500. They are 78-76. Still, they're close to being eliminated from playoff contention. Let's see, everybody. Tommy Johnson says the Brewers' small market team is doing well. In fact, Milwaukee is smaller than Pittsburgh. And Danny's telling Taco not to miss Thursday nights anymore. On Wednesday and Thursday, you can hear King Hap and Taco on Twitch. It's Happy Hour Social Club. They got a great group of friends in there to chat with you. And we just love having them. Taco and King Hap, Wednesday nights, 7:30, and I believe Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. I can't even stay up for either lately because we get up so early here. But it's a great show. They talk about all the sports. Of course, some baseball, a lot of football, UFC, MMA, everything. They talk about hockey. They talk about everything. So Two great guys with a great show. I hope you'll go support them. Most of their friends go to Twitch where you can see them live on video, and they have it's just a great crew of people over there listening. It's fun to chat, and that's Happy Hour Social Club at Twitch. Okay, the Diamondbacks pitcher Luke Weaver earned his first win for the Yankees. He allowed 4 hits in 5 1/3. Johnny Brito pitched 3 2/3 innings for his first career save. Brandon Pfaadt allowed 6 runs, 5 earned, and 8 hits in 4 1/3 innings. What do you think of Brandon Pfaadt for next year? He's 2-9 on the season. I remember a lot of hype for this guy. The first time he came up, then he went back down, crushed it. Second time he came up. He's 2-9 in the majors this season. So, we'll see. It was the 35th time a Yankees player hit 3 homers in a game. It was the 9th time a major leaguer had 3 in one game just this season. 9 times a hitter has pounded 3 home runs in a game this season. And
Mitchell is here.
Hello, Mitchell. Welcome to the Hartson Brothers. All right. I told you it was the 9th time a major leaguer had 3 home runs in one game this season, and Judge is the only one to do it twice. He's the only Yankee to ever do it twice in a season. Judge went 4 for 4 with a double and tied a career high with 6 RBIs. His 8th career 4-hit game and first since May 20th. He drove in 6 for the 4th time in his career. He's batting .267 with 35 homers and 70 RBIs in 100 games this season. He missed nearly 8 weeks after spraining his right big toe, and the sold-out crowd at Yankee Stadium was 39,143. Tonight you get to see Arizona Zach Davies against New York Carlos Rodon, who's good grief, can this guy get any worse? He's 3-6 with a 5.90. Heavy rain is in the forecast, but I'm not sure this game has been canceled yet.
Which game was that?
The New York Yankees game?
Yeah.
I know 3 games have been postponed today, so
3 or 2?
2 maybe.
2.
Maybe I'm lying. Sometimes I make up shit.
The Yankee game is out, and the Braves are the Nationals.
Okay, King Turd says, Yankees fan booed Judge last season, and we should never forget it. Yeah, well, add it to the list of players that the Yankees fans boo. They're like that. Mitchell Hartson just riding in on his kayak. Don't turn over, Mitchell. Acuna Jr. joined the exclusive 40-40 club, but I think it's going to be even more impressive when he hits the freaking 40-70 club. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. Has to be the first pick next year, no doubt about it. Charlie Morton left the game in the first inning. The Braves beat the Nationals 9-6, and with this win, the Braves move 4 games ahead of the Dodgers for the top seed in the National League. The Braves hold the tiebreaker over the Dodgers based on a 4-3 season series. The Nationals are 7-18 since August 27th. Charlie Morton walked 2 batters and left the game due to right index finger discomfort after 24 pitches in the first inning. The management says that Morton will have an MRI today, and he does hope to be ready for the postseason. Patrick Corbin, 4 1/3 innings. He's 10-14 on the season, 5 runs on 5 hits, including 2 home runs, with 1 walk and 1 strikeout. Acuna's 40th homer led off the game. That's his 34th leadoff home run in his career and 8th of the season. He is the first player to have 40 homers and 60 stolen bases in one season. Mitchell Hartson says the Braves starting pitching is going to be a big issue in the postseason, in his opinion. Milwaukee's starting pitching is much stronger, according to Mitchell. Milwaukee bullpen is better than the Braves. I don't know about that. You'll have to have a fight with Lenny over that. Now they have Fried and Morton with issues. That's true. Actually, if you want to look at the bullpens, the Yankees have the best bullpen ERA in baseball. And that's not to say that they have the best
bullpen. Tampa.
Not according to ERA, Leonard.
No, but according to saves.
But according to Leonard and according to, and I agree with this, there's a lot of other things. I don't have the stats in front of me for the teams, but I do agree that Tampa does have an excellent bullpen, and I misspoke when I said Atlanta. But both teams do, right?
Yes.
Both these guys? Okay. Back to my notes. Acuna he also doubled and scored 3 runs yesterday. Acuna has hit safely in 14 of his last 15 games with 8 homers and 15 RBI in that span. His 143 runs scored are the most since A-Rod in 2007. 143 runs. Austin Riley hit a 2-run home run and finished with 4 RBIs, and Marcell Ozuna, this little punk, 3-run homer. Raciel Iglesias, 30th save. C.J. Abrams went 2 for 4 with a double and 3 RBIs. The Braves placed Max Fried on the 15-day injured list because of that blister on his left index finger, and I told you earlier in the tidbits that the team recalled right-handed pitcher Darius Vines from AAA. Fried will be ready to start when the playoffs begin, according to Snitker. He believes that. He doesn't say it for sure. Nats left-handed closer Sean Doolittle announced his retirement after 11 seasons, and today the game has been postponed. Tomorrow will be a split doubleheader at 1:30 and 6:30. Lenny wants to know, Ozzie Albies, is he a superstar?
First round pick?
Is he a first-round pick next year? No. That's just my top-of-the-head guess on that. I would probably...
We know.
Ooh, Boston Paul says Albies is first round. Is he stealing bases?
Yes. And hitting home, he's doing everything.
I know he hits homers, but how bad is his batting average good?
Everything is good.
Okay.
He's a very underrated player.
Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ty Cobb are the only players in MLB history to have 75 or more extra base hits and 60 or more stolen bases in the same season. Both Acuna Jr. and Cobb were born on December 18th, 111 years apart. That is an excellent tidbit from Leonard Donaldson. Thank you very much for that. The Phillies moved closer to their second straight playoff appearance with a 5-4 win over the New York Mets yesterday. Phillies moved their magic number to clinch a playoff berth to 4. The Phillies are winners of 6 out of the last 8. They're 4 games ahead of Arizona for the first National League wild card, and the Mets were mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. I'm very sorry to say that, but we knew it was coming, so it's not a surprise. JT Realmuto hit a 3-run homer in the 6th. Phillies reliever Craig Kimbrell blew his 4th save of the season when Brett Beatty hit a homer in the 9th, and the Mets still lost. But Taijuan Walker struck out 4, gave up 2 runs. Kyle Schwarber added an RBI single for his 100th RBI of the season. Brandon Nimmo tied a career high with 64 RBI, and he's hitting from the leadoff spot, so that's pretty good. Lindor made it 4-3 with a solo homer. And the Phillies, they called up right-handed pitcher Orion Kerkering from AAA Lehigh Valley. He was selected by the Phillies in the 5th round of the 2022 draft. He's 22 years old. He was 4-1 with 14 saves and a 1.51 ERA in 49 relief appearances with 4 different minor league teams this season. So he's up, and he is eligible for the postseason. That is Orion Kerkering. Jose Quintana against Zach Wheeler today. 32 homers and 13 stolen bases from Ozzie Albies. David Fry delivered a 2-run double with 1 out in the 9th inning as Cleveland recovered from Emmanuel Clase blowing another save, and they rallied to beat the Orioles 9-8. Baltimore's loss kept them 1.5 games ahead of second-place Tampa Bay, which lost 6-2 to Toronto. Anthony Santander had 3 hits and 3 RBIs. Cleveland officially eliminated from the playoffs. Shane Bieber made his first start after he missed 64 games. He allowed 5 runs and 6 hits in 5 innings. And Baltimore was counting on Dean Kremer to give them a quality start because they really need to protect their tired bullpen. But he only got through 3 1/3, and it didn't help that Kremer's defense let him down with 2 errors in the 4th inning, leading to 3 Cleveland runs.
Big Al.
Hello, Big Al. Great to see you. Thanks for coming to visit us on this Saturday morning. Everybody's good. With Baltimore, their bullpen has been taxed during a difficult stretch. They did recall right-handed pitcher Tyler Wells from AAA to help out, and he was needed right away. He pitched 2 scoreless innings. He was one of the American League's top starters in the first half of the season, but he went down to the minors. He pitched mostly in relief. I think that's where they're going to use him from now on, especially with how tired their bullpen is. Bo Naylor was removed in the 5th with a bruised right thumb, and David Fry replaced him behind the plate. Cal Quantrill against John Means tonight.
Bo Naylor, we reported that he was a quick runner and a good fielder. Because he was overweight, people thought he was not.
All right, according to Leonard, that we were the ones to point out that Bo Naylor was a quick runner and a good hitter, but he's overweight.
It's like John Kruk.
Like John who?
Kruk.
Okay. Alrighty. Which is great for us, Big Al. That, Lenny and I do the box scores. We like to go over the game recaps. And when they do double headers, I'm just excited for tomorrow because we're going to have a very short slate of games to have to go through. And usually there's 15 games is the most. But when there's double headers, there could be 22 games. And it's just daunting going through all of the recaps and putting them together. But anyway, overweight is okay, Danny Fuller. I agree with you. All right. Boston Red Sox rallied for a 3-2 win over the White Sox. The Red Sox won for just the second time in 8 games, and the White Sox lost for the 10th time in their last 13 games. The White Sox lost 100 games in 2018, 1970, 1948, and 1932. Right now, they're 58 and 96, so there's a good chance they hit the 100-loss mark. Red Sox starter Chris Sale went 5 scoreless innings. He struck out 7, 3 singles and a walk he allowed. Touki Toussaint gave up a run on 5 hits with 2 strikeouts and 2 walks in 6 1/3. Masataka Yoshida hit a go-ahead RBI single. Adam Duvall a sacrifice fly. Trevor Story had 3 hits. Chris Martin got the final 3 outs for his 3rd save, and Luis Robert Jr., he singled, stole 2nd and 3rd before he scored. The sold-out attendance was 37,102 for Barbie night at Fenway Park, which they decided they would call Kenway Park for Barbie night. Oh, God. They sold out, but that doesn't mean anything. They sell out a lot. 37,102 fans for Kenway Park and Barbie night. The White Sox placed Michael Kopech on, he was already placed, but he underwent surgery to remove a cyst on his right knee, and the recovery time is 6 to 8 weeks. He finishes the season with a 5-12 record and a 5.43 ERA in 30 games. He made 27 starts, and you can expect to hear more from Lenny about Michael Kopech. There was a whole slew of tidbits about Michael Kopech, but I didn't think they were worthy of my time because Michael Kopech is not worthy of my time. Kenley Jansen is worthy of my time. He was in the clubhouse yesterday. He should be activated today after he's been out because of COVID-19. Apparently, they still have a COVID-19 list, which is interesting in itself. But Dylan Cease and Nick Pivetta today. Daniel Ferrara, great to see you. King Turd, great to see you. Big Al on the prowl, great to see everybody. Yeah, the ball girls should have dressed up like Barbie, right? Wow, it dressing up like Barbie could really be hard to pull off. Even if you, Barbie is something that, anyway, good point, Big Al. That would have been fun. Maybe they did. You never know. Danny, you're worthy of my time. Penny's worthy of my time. Leonard is worthy of my time. Corey Seager hit his 32nd home run. Evan Carter added an early 3-run homer in an 8-5 victory over the Mariners on Friday night. And the Rangers, I think it should be official Rangers Day today. That's another one competing for the official chat room day. White Sox Al, great to see you. The Rangers are back on top in the American League West for the first time in September with 9 games left in the regular season. Aroldis Chapman allowed 3 hits and a walk. He also struck out 2, but the bases were loaded when all-star rookie third baseman Josh Young made a nice snag for the game-ending grounder. Young played only his 4th game since missing 6 weeks with a fractured left thumb. And, people used to like to talk about Tim Anderson and how important he was to the team and how much better the White Sox do when Tim Anderson is in the lineup. And I'll tell you right now, I noticed this a while ago. Josh Young is so important to this team. He's a youngster, but he has just been so good. I would love to know the number of wins that the Rangers have with him in the lineup and without him in the lineup, because he is a huge difference maker. Now, it was the first of 7 games between Texas and Seattle over the final 10 days of the regular season. The Mariners' other 3 games are at home against the Astros.
Chat room's looking great.
Chat room's looking great, Lenny says.
That's right. More people here now than there were at the beginning.
COVID is a cold.
Yep, okay.
After leading the American League West for 148 of the season's first 149 days, Texas is back in front for the first time since August 29th, and Toronto remains the American League's second wild card. Corey Seager snapped a 2-for-22 slide with a first pitch homer in the first inning off rookie Bryce Miller. Dane Dunning had allowed only 1 hit until the first 3 Seattle batters reached to open the 6th inning. He gave up 4 runs over 5 1/3 innings with 2 strikeouts and 2 walks. The Rangers scored 6 runs on 6 hits in 4 1/3 against Bobby Miller. Cal Raleigh hit his 30th home runs, and the Rangers won their 3rd game in a row since a 10-20 stretch that had knocked them out of the division lead. Tonight, you get to see Logan Gilbert against Jordan Montgomery. The Twins clinched the American League Central title yesterday with an 8-6 win over the Angels. Minnesota held on late to win the division crown for the 3rd time in the last 5 seasons under Rocco Baldelli. I love that guy as a manager. Minnesota won for the 6th time in the last 8 games, and the playoffs have not been kind to the Twins. They have lost 18 straight postseason games, 13 of those to the New York Yankees. The Twins have not won a playoff game since 2004. Los Angeles has lost 8 of their last 9 games. Pablo Lopez pitched 6 innings, allowing 3 runs and 5 hits with 7 strikeouts. His career-high 228 strikeouts are the 2nd in the American League, right behind Toronto's Kevin Gausman, who has 232 strikeouts. And Pablo Lopez's 3.61 ERA ranks 10th in the league. Johan Duran, 27th save. Alex Kirilloff, 10th homer and drove in 3 runs. He became the 12th Twins player with double-digit home runs this season, setting a club record. Logan O'Hoppe, a 2-run shot in the 8th for his 12th home run of the season. And we did talk about Royce Lewis. He's probably definitely going to miss the rest of the season, but the team is hopeful that he will be ready to return for the playoffs. He leads the team in batting average with a .309. Sonny Gray is 8-7 with a .284 ERA. He's pitching tonight. The Angels have not announced a starter. They're likely going to use an opener. The Kansas City Royals beat Houston 7-5. They knocked the Astros out of first place in the AL West. Kansas City won for the 8th time in their last 9 games. Houston has lost 7 of their last 10 and dropped a half game back of the Texas Rangers in the division. Houston, 39-40 at home this season, hold a half game lead for the final American League wildcard spot over the Mariners with 8 games remaining. But the Astros finished 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Cole Ragans gave up 3 hits and 2 runs over 6 strong innings. He struck out 5 and walked 4. Framber Valdez, the Royals jumped on him early for 4 runs in the first inning. Bobby Witt Jr. hit an RBI triple. MJ Melendez, Edward Olivares, and Nick Lofton also drove in runs. So Framber Valdez ended up 7 runs, 6 of them earned on 4 hits with 10 strikeouts. That's great for strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings. He also walked 3 and hit 2 batters. Chris from Cambridge says the Angels should have a team meeting and watch the Angels in the outfield. That's pretty funny. James MacArthur got his second save. Yordan Alvarez hit an RBI double. Jose Abreu hit a solo home run. Chas McCormick hit a 3-run homer. Salvador Perez cleared his concussion protocol and worked out yesterday. He can be activated off the 7-day concussion injured list tomorrow. Michael Brantley was out of the lineup for a 4th straight game with right shoulder soreness. And tonight you get to see J.P. France against Jordan Lyles. The Oakland Athletics ended their 8-game losing streak with an 8-2 win over Detroit. The last place A's won for the first time since September 12th and avoid tying the team's Oakland-era record for the most losses in a season. The Tigers were eliminated from playoff contention earlier in the night when the Twins clinched the American League Central title. Ken Waldichuk tied his season high with 7 strikeouts, 2 runs, 4 hits, and 6 innings for his first win as a starter since May 6th. 2 of his other wins did come in relief. Sawyer Gibson Long worked around 3 walks and allowed 1 run and 4 hits in 5 innings. It's his 3rd major league start. He retired 10 of 11 during one stretch. And another milestone for Miggy, his 624th career double tied him with Hank Aaron for the 13th most in Major League history. It was the 3,168th hit of Cabrera's career, 16th all-time. Pinch hitter Shea Langoliers launched a 3-run homer, and Brent Rooker hit his 29th homer. Brent Rooker, how much are we paying next year for Brent Rooker? Eduardo Rodriguez threw a bullpen session before the game and he will take his regular turn in the rotation tomorrow in the series finale. Tonight, Athletics rookie Joe Boyle makes his 2nd career start, and the Tigers have not named a starter. Is Malpal here yet?
Nope.
Well, he must have got too excited and slept in today. Manny Machado hit 2 homers, drove in 3 runs for the Padres, who beat the Cardinals 4-2 to extend their season-high winning streak to 8 games. The Padres are 4 games out of the race for the 3rd and final wildcard spot in the National League. 4 teams are ahead of them. They've been under 500 since May 12th. It was Macho Man's 30th homer. It was his 39th career multi-homer game and 6th this season. There was a sellout crowd of 42,983. Jordan Walker hit a triple. Matt Waldron made his 5th start. He's allowed a homer in all 7 appearances this year. He permitted 1 run and 3 hits in 5 2/3, struck out 9 and walked 2. Cardinals placed Nolan Arenado and Wilson Contreras on the 10-day injured list, ending both their seasons. Jake Woodford pitches against Nick Martinez tonight. Sean Manaea scattered 3 hits over 7 shutout innings to beat the Dodgers for the first time in his career, and Mike Yastrzemski, Thairo Estrada, Tyler Fitzgerald all homered, and the Giants beat the Dodgers 5-1, which you know I love, Danny Fuller. Danny's our resident Dodgers fan here. Manaea He's earned the only 2 wins on the Giants' road trip. He struck out 2, walked none. He improved to 1-5 in 10 career appearances against the Dodgers. He came into the game with a career 9 ERA against the Dodgers. The Giants had lost 3 in a row and 6 of 7. They returned to 500 after dropping below that mark for the first time since June 5th with a loss in the series opener on Thursday. Miguel Rojas singled in the 3rd, then Manaea retired 11 batters in a row, his best outing of the season. The Dodgers managed just 3 base runners through 7 innings, and none of them advanced past first base. Doval earned his 38th save. Fitzgerald, it was his first home run in the majors, his 2nd big league game. Gavin Stone gave up 3 runs and 3 hits in 4 1/3, struck out 5 and walked 2. Freddie Freeman singled off Manaea to reach 200 hits for the first time in his career. Earlier this week, Freeman became the first Dodgers first baseman to join the 2020 club and just the 2nd first baseman with 20-plus steals. He has 26 homers and 21 stolen bases, and the last Dodgers player with 200 hits in a season was Adrian Beltre all the way back in 2004, and their last first baseman to do so was Steve Garvey in 1980. Tonight, it's Clayton Kershaw against, we don't know yet because the Giants have not announced a starter. I'm finished up a little early today, 10 minutes, so if you guys want to say anything, let me just go over let me check out the chat room, see what's going on here. Rooker reminds me of KB, that's Chris Bryant, I assume, selling out for power. I'm not sure that you mean Chris Bryant, I think you do. OMG Manny, why? I love Manny. I like Manny because I think, well, first of all, he's the best. Look at him defensively. Plus, he hardly ever gets hurt. I know this season puts a wrench into that statement. But Manny Machado is so sturdy. He's so good. He's excellent defensively. He steals bases. He hits home runs. He gets good on base. I just like him. He might be my favorite player in baseball, but I get it. I understand he hasn't had a great season, but he did hit 30, right? And yes, Beltre, legend. He was Seattle, then he went to Red Sox, then he went to Texas. And obviously he played for Dodgers in 2004. That must have been before he traveled around the globe. But, all right, Gavin Stone, decent. What are you going to pay for Gavin Stone next year? He's not a punk. Manny is not a punk. Why is he a punk? Because he crushes your Dodgers, Danny? It's all right. I really think I probably like players that are punks a little bit. I don't know. I definitely like players that the media hates. But that's it. Thanks, everybody, for coming and spending your Saturday morning with me and Leonard. What do you have to say for yourself?
Who, me?
Yes, you, Leonard.
Great job. Proud of you. Happy to call you my kid.
Leonard's proud of me. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Lady and the Legend, 9 o'clock. Don't miss it.